Hello and welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today for a new webinar with Avsia. We've got another amazing panel of speakers today who will be telling us everything they know about the latest digital solutions which can be used in the solar industry, specifically for Africa. So I'm very pleased to have everybody here today, and also happy that you are able to make some time in your schedules to join us today. Before I hand over the word to Daniel, who will be moderating and leading our session today, I would just like to share a few slides with you about the event. So you see, as I mentioned a few moments ago, amazing lineup of speakers from some of the leading companies globally in this field. Daniel will tell you a lot more about every one of them, and everybody will be presenting in a few minutes. But before we go there, I would like to remind you a few housekeeping items. Of course, all the presentations and the recording of this event will be shared with you after the event. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentations. No need to take crazy notes, no need to take screenshots. You will get all the presentations later on. And then, of course, we really encourage you to engage our speakers at any point in time. And you can do so very easily with the Q&A box, which you find in the functions at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Q&A is really good to submit your questions. Chat is really good if you want to discuss a little bit and engage other listeners joining us today. Submit your questions in the Q&A box. It will make all our panelists' life a lot easier to make sure that we address as many questions as you may have. So this is it for the housekeeping items. I want to delve right into the topic of today and welcome Daniel Barandalla from UL Solutions. He's calling us from Spain today. He's the solar advisor lead for Europe and Latin America at UL. And he comes with a wealth of experience, 15 plus years of experience in the PV industry, with some impressive track record in the consulting space. So worked previously with DNVGL and the Spanish National Renewable Energy Center, supporting M&A and financing activities globally. So not only for Africa, not only for Spain, but really working on projects everywhere around the globe, but really with a specialty on solar PV projects. And so Daniel, it's really my pleasure to welcome you. I want to stop talking here because you are leading this discussion today. And thank you so much for accepting the invitation to moderate. And please, the word is yours.
Thank you very much, John, for the introduction. And I would like to share my screen for my small presentation.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. So I hope you can see that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks, John, for the introduction. And yeah, in fact, I'll give a small introduction on UL, and especially I wanted to tell everyone that UL has renamed. We have rebranded our services for renewables as UL Solutions, with the idea to be more focused on addressing all of our customer and stakeholders in the renewables industry needs. Basically, our UL Solutions brand is now including all of our testing services, inspections, certification, software products, but also all the advisory services and as well those related to the renewables industry. So basically, we have a footprint in more than 140 countries across the globe, and that brings us like a global and international know-how that we always apply or tend to apply to the local needs of any specific project in any specific country. We are addressing the African market through our offices in South Africa, in Johannesburg, where our key experts are located. And we are taking from their advice or the support to the lending community, but also to other investors and players in the market. What we are working on at the moment is on providing advisory services as a consultant for wind, onshore and offshore, solar PV, storage, microgrids, and also distributed energy systems, and also hybridization, which is also a hot topic in the recent times, hybridizing different technologies, wind and solar and storage, and a combination of the three of them as well. Our main focus is been on the utility scale projects, but obviously in some key markets as Africa and others in India and some other places, we are paying a lot of attention to the distributed generation market as well, because of the demands of the market itself. And we have three main branches or three main areas within the renewables advisory business. One is the energy advisory, and this is all the services that we are doing to support our clients on the feasibility phases, on the initial stages of the project, supporting them on estimating the best outcome for the projects, always with a look into financing and giving you the right recommendations and actions to be more successful at the financing phase, and also optimizing your designs to make sure that your project will be profitable and generating as per the returns which are expected. The other branch of services is due diligence and technical advisory services, which is is kind of our main pillar in the services we are providing. And this is two main branches. One is for financing projects, so big scale projects that require a commercial lender to fund their business. So we play there into action as a technical advisor to put the technical eyes towards the bank to highlight risks and propose mitigations. And the other key thing is the M&A transactions, which are very hot topic at these days, in which investors which are in Africa or either abroad, but they want to invest in Africa, they come to us to review those assets and tell them which ones are better than the others. But obviously today we are talking about digitalization, and I would like to give you some hints on where we are putting some efforts in this space at the moment in UL Solutions, and it's mainly in the services related to the assets, to the asset advisory. So this is the services we are putting in the industry for when the projects are operational towards their entire lifetime, which on PV is 30 years or plus. So what we have developed in-house is a platform which is called RAMP, Renewables Asset Monitoring Platform, with the purpose of reading all the SCADA data from an operating plant and doing a detailed performance assessment. So the tool is fully operational for wind. And what UL has done in the recent years to put that at the same level for solar was the acquisition of a company which is in the US, which is called Clear Sky Analytics, which is bringing all this intelligence and all this know-how to be integrated here. So as of now, for solar, we are doing we are reading directly in data from your SCADA, and our differentiator is that we are providing like a detailed waterfall of losses, telling you how your plant is performing, where you are having underperformance, and what are the solutions that you can take to overcome those and bring the performance up of your assets. So I think that's a brief summary of what we are doing and the efforts that we are putting as a company now in the digitalization space. And I think that's all for now as an introduction. And to continue with the flow, I would like to present the next speaker. So I would like to introduce Dr. Svet Batlekov, which is the CEO from AMMP. And he's joining us today from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And he comes also with a broad experience in the industry, more than 10 years. And previous to his role now at AMMP, he was working in E.ON, Off-Grid Solutions, PowerGen, And he's been focused on simplifying the management of commercial solar assets and putting the path forward as easy as possible for those asset owners. So he holds PhD in atomic and laser physics and also a master in science in theoretical physics. So today, Esbeth, he's going to show us his company, especially with focus on the solutions for remote monitoring and management for renewable energy companies. So Esbeth, the floor is yours.
Great, thanks Daniel for that introduction. Let me just pull up a couple slides that I want to share with you as a sort of introduction. Daniel already mentioned a little bit about us. I'm assuming my screen sharing is working here, by the way. So what AMP does is providing remote monitoring and management for renewable energy companies, really with a focus on PV hybrid systems and with a focus on emerging markets, in particular Africa. So this is a place that what we do is quite relevant, I think. In a nutshell, what we do as a company in terms of our platform is providing the full suite from starting with data acquisition from the sites, analytics to allow the insight to come through from the data, and then really operational management of the assets and operational intelligence. To dive a little bit deeper into what we do and what differentiates us, on one hand, we have a really broad set of integrations. So pretty much any equipment vendor and any type of equipment that's relevant in in many cases, we have direct API integrations with these vendors. And what that means is that customers can onboard systems without actually installing any new hardware on site or any specific hardware for AMP, just using their existing monitoring. And then the other place where I think are really quite differentiated is in our ability to work with the broad studies. And that's something particularly relevant from what we've seen in Africa. So very often you don't just have a solar PV plant, but you're going to have batteries, diesel generators, backup power, potentially all sorts of other sensors, of course, assets like microgrids as well. And many of the existing solutions or the traditional solutions, they don't really allow the operators to really get a proper view across all of these different types of assets. So they can come in and provide visibility across that portfolio. And at the moment, we've got over 1,000 systems that we're monitoring really globally, but as I said, with a focus on emerging markets in particular. Most of the systems that that are on our platform are commercial and industrial systems. I'd say a few kilowatts at the low end, of course, and up to several megawatts at the high end, again, with a focus on hybrid systems. And what our customers get is the AMP operating system primarily. So really unified monitoring across their portfolio, having a real set of trusted data that they can use for reporting, for customer invoicing, really underpinning a lot of their other operations, not just technical operations, and that detailed performance analysis that allows them to really make the best decisions for their operations across the portfolio. And just one thing I wanted to highlight as one of the new directions that we've moved in, also beyond just pure monitoring, is using that data for energy trading. So we're running a pilot in the municipality of George in South Africa, where we're enabling trading of the power that's being generated by 5 commercial and industrial solar sites that have excess power. And that power, that energy is being then consumed and paid for by others on that municipal grid. And that's one of the first examples of this happening, I think, on the continent. We're very excited about it. We see a lot more demand for that across many geographies. And we see that as a real driver of unlocking more solar deployment. So if you're able to not worry about what happens to your excess solar power, if you know that you're going to be able to sell that on to somebody else and make some extra money from that, that makes the decision to install solar all that much simpler. So I'll look forward to our discussion today. This will be shared with everybody, as John said at the start, so some contact details for after presentation. But thank you, Daniel. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Esbeth. Very, very interesting, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of questions also from the audience later discuss on all those topics. So our next presenter for today is Sebastian Sens. He comes from Germany, and he's the founder of Eco-Free Renewables Engineering. So he worked with Energies Without Borders. So he has a wide experience as well in probably some of the key needs that the African market has. He's a specialist for sensors and Internet of Things systems, and he holds Master Degree of Technology Entrepreneurship from the Karlsruhe University of Applied Science. So Sebastian, he's going also to present us today his monitoring platform for solar, water, and agri-PV. So Sebastian, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So hello, and thank you for that opportunity. I guess you're all seeing my screen now. Is it working?
Yes, Sebastian, and you can put it in full screen mode. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, as Daniel said, I'm one of the co-founders from Eco-Free Renewables Engineering. We focus on, especially on Africa, on solar, water, and agriculture. As the former speaker said, especially in Africa, there are a lot of projects where you need extra data, where just the pure solar data is not enough, because very often solar comes with a purpose, and for that we designed and fully integrated infrastructure for information about just the solar. So we same as the vendors, we grab the solar data and enrich this data with additional sensors. Everything comes together on one platform, and there of course we can also integrate the existing monitoring via an API, and give an aggregated view, like a full view of whole fleets of systems, and visualization about different aspects of management, technical aspects. So for that, we provide different individual reports and an overview which makes you able to manage your systems and to make your systems longer lasting. So what does it mean? By that, we reduce still standard of project. We give information even before faults are happening. And in a nutshell, this is coming into long-lasting projects and working systems. Of course, seeing all the projects in one fleet, we help you to focus on the projects which are not working, and to show your customers which are the difficulties in your project and which can be improved, and where are bottlenecks, and where are quick wins, where are easy wins to get more out of your projects. And that we are doing, as I said, we are focusing a lot in solar water pumping. Since we saw this is a huge market, a huge growing market, especially in the irrigation sector. We saw that there are a lot of upcoming projects, but of course also in the regular C&I sector, with zero export or fuel saving modes for generator and grid coupled systems, and of course in the agriculture sector, talking about irrigation, but also about the whole holistic supply chain. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian. And as said, that I encourage everyone in the audience to start putting their questions for having advantage on that in the discussion afterwards. So I think we can move ahead with the next presenter. So our next presenter is Micah Gobel. I hope I have said right your name, Mike. So she is head of partnership, and she comes head of partnership of Open Solar. She is joining us today from Australia. It's quite late for her, so thanks for your effort there. And she is having more than 16 years of experience in business development, and she has worked in a number of entities, such as the Council of State, Netherlands Embassy in Kinshasa, the Netherlands Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Victoria State, Clean Energy Council. So it's impressive, her experience in that area. And she's also passionate about clean energy and climate change. So probably her insights on this interesting software that she's going to present us will be very, very interesting. So basically, she is going to show us a software to really run quite easily your solar business from beginning to end. So Maike, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let me see if I can share my screen. Yes, thank you. All right, Daniel, thank you very much for the intro. I am very pleased to be here. Thanks for the invitation. I'm Maaike Geubel, I'm Head of Global Partnerships at Open Solar. And I'm going to take you through the reasons why software for solar businesses is really helping your business anywhere in the world, of course, also in Africa. So with solar software, you can design the system remotely. There's no need to first climb on the roof of a residential home or of a business, go and measure the roof, and then go and draw up a proposal. You can actually do it all within the software based on the imagery in there, which makes the process much more efficient. You can then choose to sell remotely, or you can go and have your laptop or tablet with you and propose with the customer. So the software will really save you time. It will cut out a visit to go and do those measurements as well, and therefore it saves you a lot of costs. And this extra time you can then use to do more installations. So over here, you see two screenshots. One is a 2D screenshot and one a 3D screenshot of Open Solar, which is the first free to use solar design and sales platform in the world. It's entirely free. We are a mission-driven company, and we're aiming to create a world powered by solar. And by providing Open Solar completely free with no hidden per proposal or monthly fees, we strongly believe that we can contribute to that and leave the solar businesses free to grow. So the two gentlemen here in the image that you see, they are our founders. We launched Open Solar in 2019, and Adam Pryor and Andrew Birch in the image are the inventors of remote solar system design back in 2007. So we strongly believe that nobody should be required to spend 30 minutes or more on other software, or much longer if you go to the property, when you can actually do a proposal in 90 seconds, which I will show you later. You can also have integrated acceptance of the proposal by the customer on Open Solar. So you don't need the paperwork, no more scanning, all done, all there. And we're not only super fast in the process, but also very accurate, as here validated by PVAL and by NREL in the US. So lastly, what I wanted to highlight is that Open Solar is really an end-to-end, all-in-one business management solution with a built-in CRM, so you can manage your workflows and your customers and your staff all within Open Solar. If you already have other CRM, then you can also connect that via an open API. So here, this one I find really interesting. This is a map of that indicates projects and proposals that have been done on Open Solar in the last 3 years. And as you can hopefully see, in Africa, there is a concentration in South Africa, Nigeria, bit in Ghana, Morocco, and Egypt, and then some dotted around. And I am really hoping to see many, many, many more dots all over the place in the coming years. So I have a super short demo. I recorded it, but I'll talk you through it. So let's go here. Here you see the home page. If you start typing the address, then you choose from the drop down here, choose the correct number. Then you add the customer details, email address, so you can send the proposal there. Then you choose the actual consumption in a way that you want. I've chosen annual here. You go to design. In South Africa, you have 3D available on Google. So you choose that here, you just drop and drag the panels on the roof. Then the system will automatically do the azimuth and the pitch and the shading analysis. So you see here, there's a bit of shading impact in the morning and then some months in the afternoon. Here you choose your other hardware, so you can choose an inverter there. Then you set up the pricing. You choose from a pricing system that you've set up. I chose to do a manual price input here. I also wanted to give the customer the option to either have a cash payment or a loan. And I also wanted to offer the opportunity to either do a system, just panels, or one with a battery as well. So that's here. Then we're moving on to the online proposal. Here, this is what the customer receives. They see their property, then they can click between the different systems. They see the components of the system. They see the performance, and they can see how the system works with the battery, of course, financials, bill before, bill after, choose whether they want to use loan or cash, and accept the proposal online if that is what they want to do. If you want to learn more, please go to the website, create your own account, use the self-help videos or the articles on the website, or join our webinar. I really hope that I've shown very quickly that software can make a massive impact on your business, can make it much more efficient and make the sales process far more efficient as well. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot, Michael. Quite impressive. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of questions there as well. So I think, yeah, we can move to the next presenter. So Tian Botha, he is the product manager for Solar MD, and he's currently joining us from South Africa. So he's worked with Freedom One and Miro Distribution. He's very enthusiastic about renewable energies, and he was entering the renewables space to allow him to provide more critical service to recipients and stakeholders in the industry. So he is going to show us today also the solution that Solar MD has for solar, also as a storage service provider. So Tian, all yours. We look forward to get your insights.
Can you all see my screen? Yeah,
no problem.
So we all know that the sun is the largest form of energy. It's quite a well-known fact. And imagine if we could actually just harness a second of that energy and store it, we'd be able to provide energy for the planet. He was started in 2014 in Cape Town by a group of engineers in the renewable energy space. We obviously specialize in the residential, commercial, utility scale life pair storage solutions developed and tested in Africa. As you can see, our reach is expanding heavily as well as into the UK and the US. 14.3 52-volt residential storage, and that goes up all the way to the large commercial and utility scale HV voltage applications. Also available on here is the Logger V2, which has been developed and manufactured in-house, which allows for remote monitoring and control platform. Solar MD has got a serious R&D department filled with electronic, software, and mechanical engineers. Our BMS designed, developed, and produced in-house. This allows for low and high level software and security on a low and high level development basis, and which allows us strong updates and optimization capabilities within real time. Our assembly line and manufacturing process and developed by our mechanical engineering team. Much like my fellow panelists, SolarMD has been collecting data for the past 7 years. Which allowed us to build the MyPower24 management platform. This gives you full control over the battery, and this is offered at no cost when you purchase a SolarMD battery. Just a further elaboration on our inverter compatibility. This an overview of our most popular inverter brands. We've also got compatibility with high voltage inverters such as SunGrow, ATIS, SoFar, and AEG. And just to give you on the MyPower24 logger platform, that is actual registered loggers live on our system that you can view and access remotely for full control. Financial just a further elaboration on some of the financial aspects. So obviously energy storage, energy is stored at off-peak periods to be utilized when energy tariffs are at the most. Minimizes your electricity bill at the end of the month. Now, recent developments in South Africa will allow you to export the excess energy which you have stored, which will reflect as a bill. Now, this is where I enjoyed the Open Solar platform, doing some YouTube videos, is that you can actually break down the cost for your clients. And, you know, essentially, of the offset costs, which can sometimes prove to be a bit intimidating. It creates a better understanding for the appeal to the acquisition. Obviously, supply chain has always been a problem. Well, for quite some time now, supply chain issues has been a problem. Well, essentially for any manufacturer. And then in the renewable space, we can't grow as quick as we possibly want to. And then some of the economics prove to be a challenge. Some of the larger organizations and governments quite reluctant to renewable space. Opportunities, obviously we'd like to approach carbon neutrality as quick as possible. Nobody likes pollution, and quality of life is a serious topic. It allows for sustainable green jobs. The renewables industry is not going to stop anytime soon. So, you know, it allows for sustainable growth with the sector. Yeah, and just some updates on SolarMD technology. Yeah, so SolarMD's high voltage, this is just a view of the SolarMD's high voltage commercial and utility scale solutions. Our high voltage battery systems, as you can see, is a stack. It's quite modular, allows for serious redundancy, and in the unlikely event, this is hot swappable. You can actually just remove a module, replace it with a new one, get your capacity back up and running, same plot, as it would be. The high voltage batteries allow for low current to be used when charging these. So there's a reduction in raw materials with installations and manufacturing, and it also increases major efficiency. That's it from me.
Great, thank you very much, Tian. Your voice was breaking a bit in some points, but I'm sure I think we captured the message, and yeah, I encourage the audience also to play specific questions if any. So yeah, thanks everyone for your very insightful presentations, and I think we can open up for a discussion now, right? And I think, yeah, it's key, and it's a clear direction that all the companies, it doesn't matter how small or big they are moving their strategies into digitalizing to be more efficient, more cost effective, and to do things better with less time, right? So that's key. And I think we've seen here different approaches for different solutions, and all of them are very valid and very, very interesting though. So I think probably I would like to open the discussion, especially for those who are offering monitoring platforms. Like we know that, especially to be able to have meaningful outcome of the operating of a PV plant, you need to really do a lot of work beforehand. So probably managing with all the number of suppliers that are in the industry, new suppliers that are coming up. So what's the challenges that you have faced when having to interact with so many different inverters, PV modules, whatever, that you need to integrate in your platform to make sure that you can really get meaningful information of all the data that you've been monitoring? So probably you can give us some opinions there, Svet, Sebastian, and Tian, probably. That's not that much related to Micah, but we have very good questions for you as well.
Oh, good.
I can say a few words, and I mean, I'd probably start by saying that it's been a bit of a challenge. It's an interesting question to start with. Of course, there are an increasing number of suppliers in the space, and that's a great thing, right? If you're a buyer of PV or battery systems, you're sort of spoiled for choice, despite the supply chain challenges that Tian, of course, touched on. When it comes to the sort of digital capabilities of those systems, I'd say they're still sort of in their infancy in many ways, especially when it comes to really sort of setting up proper data flows from the different platforms. So I can give an example. You know, if you have a Huawei system or a GoodWe system, you have the monitoring platform from Huawei or GoodWe. In order to actually get your data out of that in a systematic way, is still quite tricky. They are moving in the right direction, but there's still quite a long way to go for these systems to be as usable as they really should be. I'm not going to go into more detail, but it's because I can go into that for ages. But maybe Tian or Sebastian, you have something to add there.
Yeah, I think also if you could give us an idea, also Tian, Sebastian, from different perspectives. Like Tian, you work on a storage system, so if there is a similar situation or you face similar problems, and also Sebastian, that you also deal with other type of aspects like pumping water and other type of projects. So if you could provide your insights on those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so first it's our priority to integrate with as many possible inverter brands, meters, and weather stations. You know, obviously this allows us, our energy management system and the batteries, to meet expectations on a system level.
Yeah, coming to that question, of course, the market is of solar products is increasing, and especially when you have different aspects like energy meters, irradiation sensors. It's of course a challenge to integrate everything in a way that you have a standard for all of your different projects. Especially when you have when you as an EPC want to be flexible, it can be challenging to deal with different types of monitoring, different types of data streams. But for that, companies like us and like AMP, of course, specialized on that to deal with these issues once a time and copy that solution.
Yeah,
maybe I'm conscious that my comment might have come across quite negative. Of course, there are ways to do it. My point, as Sebastian says, that there's the challenges of actually doing it. Yeah. And I think in the end, today we're in a much better place than we've ever been in this industry.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why, I mean, we like challenges, I guess, right? So we are there to support the clients on those situations. And yeah, thanks for that. I think also talking into this aspect, and I would like to link later this question with Michael as well, because I've seen that most of you, you offer observation of the findings of the operation of your platform, certain analytics. So how do you see the market there? Because the way we see from UL Solutions as well is that there's a whole bunch of improvement and innovation that should be put in place there. Artificial intelligence, for example, to anticipate into what's going to happen to the PV plant in the near term, and that will ease the operator schedules and also the costs as well. But there's a whole bunch of aspects that can be integrated there, like energy trading, also linked to storage, how we are going to touch the market, linked to how we are going to trade with that energy and so on. How do you see that, and what's your experience, or what are you doing with your softwares and with your solutions to improve also and keep advancing on the digitalization of that part? So who wants to take this one?
I think the question can be split into two parts. One is like forecasting, the other one is like dealing with with energy trading. Of course, digitalization gives a lot of opportunities to operate in other financial models and to allow other business models, and that's where I think all of our companies see ourselves as an enabler for making other business models like pay-as-you-go systems, like different type of loans, bank loans possible. I think that's one of the biggest benefit the whole community has from the digitalization of projects.
Maybe one observation I'd add there is that, as I mentioned kind of in my introduction, across Africa, we see the systems that are being installed in general being more complex than the sort of PV only systems that you would get across Germany or the US most of the time. So because of the unreliability of the grids, people need to take backup power into their own hands. So they install batteries, or they install diesel generators, etc. Now that makes for have greater capabilities when it comes to, let's say, bi-directional energy flows, energy trading, and so forth. But we also see that the regulations at the same time are lagging behind what those capabilities are. So, in most geographies, in most jurisdictions, you cannot just trade power. You cannot even feed power back into the grid in most places. I think that aspect of it is just getting open up now. And I see huge opportunities there because, digitalization is always going to underpin those energy flows, the trades, and so forth that you can execute. And the fact that we've already got such an interesting installed base of complex systems that can do grid support, that can do frequency support, that can do a lot of bidirectional flows, couple that with better regulation, I see a lot of opportunities for that going forward. But I think we're still some way off that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Maybe I add something there as well. Yeah. And I fully realize that Open Solar has a different angle to it than the others on the panel. So on Open Solar, what we do to make it easier for finance companies, but mostly for solar businesses to be able to sell and for end customers to be able to afford a system, is we have integrated finance options. So you can offer a loan and then it automatically pulls in the application form and helps really streamline that whole process. That is not yet activated in Africa, but it will come for sure.
Yeah, and thanks, Maggie, for that point. And I think that my next question was also linked to that, because I think your tool is really amazing, and we have a lot of questions also related to that. But it comes a little bit before the solution that our other colleagues have, right? So digitalization should be also into a full integration, right? Look, is there a plan to have like incorporated models or modules to your software to be able also to retain the clients on the operational side, to be able to have monitoring platforms to check the performance of those assets, is going to, or is there any idea to have like a full vision of the whole digitalization of the entire process?
Yes. So yes, but the answer is twofold. We work with a lot of partners, and we have partners in monitoring as well. So they offer their solution as part of the system that is being sold to the end customer, and then it happens on their platform. But of course, we're also exploring in how we can bring that into Open Solar.
Yes, I think also, and that's only for you, Micah, that we have received also between the audience. Like, I think everyone has been impressed on how efficient could be the whole proposal process until even the preliminary design, until the project gets contracted. And everyone was kind of puzzled on that your software is for free. So how do you make money out of your business? And what's the perception, especially in the African continent, on your tool? If you can give us some insights there as well.
Yeah, of course. Look, we believe that no small or medium-sized business should be paying thousands of dollars for software to use for their whole sales and design process in their solar business, or basically what we offer. And instead of that, we work with partners, and all the partners pay us a little fee. And it's in their interest as well that we have lots of solar professionals on Open Solar, users on the platform, so that they sell more of their product. So we have hardware providers as partners, as well as finance companies, distributors, like lots of different type of partners, and they all pay us a little bit. And I saw in one of the comments or in the Q&As that we will certainly at some point go and charge the solar businesses, but that is incorrect. We will not do that.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Mike.
To add to digitalization, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, I mean,
would like to become a partner, sure.
Apologies for the bad connection. Is very important for any industry, particularly within the solar industry in Africa, because it's very young. It's still relatively young. And with digitalization, it will allow us to approach carbon neutrality much quicker, as well as improve energy management within Africa. You know, some of the cons, or only con I can think of for digitalization, is that you actually just require a bit more training, as it would, it's a bit more technology. So yeah, newly developed digital solutions would require a bit more training. Just wanted to add, obviously my sentence got cut off, apologies for that earlier. You know, for SolarMD, it's a high priority to integrate with as much third-party vendors as possible, such as new inverter brands, meters, and weather stations. Our energy management system for our batteries to meet expectations on a system level, obviously for maximum life expectancy.
Yeah. Okay, I think we can continue with the discussion, also touching base on some of the questions we have received online. And there's one of our attendees which is asking which of the technologies or the solutions that we have seen allows them to view, monitor, and operate not only one project but a portfolio of projects that they may have, right? And I would like to give some bits and some sense there, and also trying to see the opinions of the others. Like, for example, from our point of view, we are trying to help our clients or our customers that they have multi-technology platforms to have the ability to integrate all of the renewable projects, for example, in the same platform. And we have one which is already operating in wind. We are integrating the solar capabilities into that one. And I think the purpose of many of our clients in Africa is as well to have a unitary solution to be able to monitor their entire fleet. At the end, they are managing different type of projects and looking at the revenues of all the projects or at the operations. So I think that there are solutions that are in the market. We are working on one which is more on the advisory side, just focused on how your plants are performing and what you can do to optimize the performance of those. I wonder if any of the colleagues here in the discussion have a view or have already capabilities of integrating different type of projects in the same platform.
I was imagine that doing that kind of functionality is probably the bread and butter of a lot of what a lot of our platforms do. I mean, certainly we support. We present the whole portfolio regardless of the types of systems, and I believe EcoFi's and SolarMDs do as well. I don't know whether to add something there, but actually just one quick reflection from my side is that it is important to consider when this functionality is most relevant, and what we've seen it becomes relevant when the number of systems actually becomes significant. So up to about 10 or 15, maybe even 20 systems, we see many of our customers manage those individually, maybe just use the vendor platforms. I mean, at that point, they're already probably using 3 or 4 different vendors, but managing that size of portfolio isn't necessarily their headache. If they get to 30, 50, 100 or plus different systems, that's where unification is really beneficial. And most companies will just recognize that not having it is just not something that they can afford.
Yeah, of course, managing fleets of systems is like the bread and butter also for AMP and EcoFi, of course. We've observed that there are a lot of small EPCs starting with 20, 30 projects and managing them by the vendor offered monitoring. But as soon as they grow and like the whole market is growing, of course, the need for being able to integrate platforms becomes bigger. We've observed from customers that they are counting it in clicks. So for 100 systems, you need like 500 clicks per day to know all the data. And our goal is to reduce that to 5 clicks and see what's going on, no matter if you have 100 or 1,000 systems in the field.
Okay, thank you. And I think also extending the discussion into one of the topics that the audience is asking is, okay, then what else can we do on digitalization on the operational side? Can we support on preparing automatic reporting, on preparing or supporting claim processes or ticketing system for any kind of repairs? Probably that's also linked to the size of the project and probably not that much applicable to a small scale project, but is something that is up there in the mind of some of our audience. Do you have some capabilities there, or what's your view there? Any of you have a solution already in your systems, or planning to incorporate some of those in your roadmap?
I would not say that this is a matter of size of the project. As long as the data are there, it's of course possible to create automated reports for individual systems or for whole fleet of systems. It's always depending on what the management needs and what are the questions asked by the finance or by the technical institutions.
Yeah, I think Sebastian put it really well. I mean, ultimately, it's about meeting customers' needs. We find that certainly as portfolio sizes grow, automated reporting is something that is a must-have. So we have that in the platform. Ticketing is something that we hear very often as sort of on customers' wish lists, and we work very closely with them to ensure that they have the right capabilities there. We haven't really integrated into our platform because we know that there's many great tools out there for doing work like task management. So we make sure that there's the right touch points between the different platforms and the right workflows. Ultimately, it's going to depend on for every individual customer's needs, and those are not yet, I'd say, standardized enough for us to really just put out something that we think is going to work amazingly for everybody.
Yeah, thanks. And I think probably we could have like a round discussion on how do you see the market for digitalization or the opportunities that we see in the African market, each one with a different point of view of their businesses. How do you see that the opportunities that we may have in the African market, the pros and cons, and what would be useful to take advantage to expand those even larger, or how those could be improved, even through government incentives to go into that direction? Do you have any views specific? I would like that every one of you guys gives us your feedback there based on the nature of your business as well. Who wants to start?
I'm happy to start. I think there are great opportunities everywhere around the world. I think there are great opportunities to use more resources, more software for your business processes and get better data, better sales, better monitoring. So yes, by all means.
Thank you, Maike. Any other, your point of view?
I wasn't sure if Tian is trying to jump in and suffering some connection issues.
Right.
I mean, my two sort of reflections on this. On one hand, the, let's say, return on investment of investing in digital capabilities is pretty uncontested these days, as Mike also recognized. We find that especially in sort of challenging operating environments like we have across a lot of the African continent, digitalization, especially from an operating perspective, can really be of value. Again, we've worked with a range of customers sort of across the spectrum on enabling them to implement the right digital capabilities that really help their operations, and I think the returns there have been pretty tremendous, again, across the board. And then if I was to shift a little bit, there is also this amazing opportunity in terms of actually shifting business models and developing new business models that are based around digitalization, that are not simply based around taking your existing processes and making them a little bit better by employing digital tools, but actually opening up a whole new spectrum of things that you could be doing. Again, I mentioned energy trading earlier. Peer-to-peer trading is something that could be being done with better digitalization. That, of course, we get into the realm of things that kind of require better regulation. We are seeing that happening. We think Africa has an amazing opportunity to take advantage of that as things open up. So to me, that's kind of the next frontier of where we're going.
Yeah, and then obviously just adding to that, there's some serious optimization digitalization within Africa. There's just no monitoring and control of a few parameters, gets on a battery, gets somebody quite excited, just further advancing the way we view and develop energy storage. This essentially streamlines businesses and processes and just allows us to, point people in the right direction.
Thank you, Tian. Any conclusion, Sebastian, on your end?
Yeah, what I love about the African market is that that solar is not the purpose. The solar always have a deeper purpose, like using solar energy for pumping. In Europe, we have a lot of systems which just produce energy, and they are quite, simple, or to say boring. And in Africa, we have a lot of systems where solar is used for cold storages, solar is used for pumping, for battery backups, and so the systems are much more complex, which of course increases their value proposition, and by that decreases their very often the time of amortization. Therefore it's for us a very interesting market to grow, since all projects are different, and all projects have different aspects.
Yeah, thanks, Sebastian, and thanks all of you. I think, absolutely, I agree with all of you. There's huge amount of opportunities in different directions and cross different services, and the challenge is also to tie the dots, but there's clear connection between also what we see here, the product that Mike has, between the monitoring platforms and other services that the other has. So there's also, on our point of view, a whole bunch of opportunities that will also require some regulation on grid connection aspects and so on to bring like the whole picture also into place. So I think probably we can conclude with these nice reflections from the team. We can give the floor back to John, that would like to give some or explain you some future events that AFCIA will hold. I would like just to take the opportunity to say thank you to all of you and to AFCIA for having us with you all today. And yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Indeed, before we close today, I would like to tell you a little bit very briefly about some future events that we will be holding. And in the meantime, if you have some last minute questions, this is really your opportunity to drop them quickly in the Q&A section so that we will share them with our speakers today. And they will be able to follow up with you more directly and more personally and continue the discussion. So yes, sharing my screen here with some upcoming events. First of all, in the beginning of September, on September 6th, we will have another webinar looking at logistics and supply chain challenges that we are all facing in the African solar space, as a result, in most cases, of the war in Ukraine, but also the aftermath of COVID. A whole bunch of logistical challenges, which will be discussed by some of the leading companies active in this space. So I hope you will be able to join us then. We will have another webinar on September 27th, which is part of our Africa Energy Startup Series in collaboration with Startup Energy. And this time we will focus on companies that make in Africa for Africa. So companies that manufacture solutions and products here on the continent, and specifically with the mind of solving problems that we face in Africa. As Sebastian rightly mentioned, we have some very, very specific situations and solutions here in Africa, which are very different from other parts of the world. And during this webinar, we will be addressing some of those. And then finally, we will be holding our first physical conference after a long time. This one will be also at the end of September, 27th till the 29th. It will take place in Cape Town. And it's called ARIS, for Africa Renewables Investment Summit. So as the name says, we will focus not only on solar, we will focus on all renewable technologies for power production in Africa, and with a strong focus on making sure that developers meet the right financial partners and vice versa, so that they can take their projects to the next level. So I warmly invite you to take a closer look at this event. And I hope we will get a chance to see many of you there. We will have a big focus on matchmaking there. We really want all the participants to meet specifically the kind of partners that they are looking for. And so if you are developing projects, if you are looking for financing partners, or if you are looking to invest in renewable projects, this is really meant for you. And this closes today's session. Again, I echo Daniel. I thank you all for taking some time off your schedules today and for joining us. Thanking the panelists today for sharing some very, very interesting work that they're doing. And I thank all the listeners for their participation. Thank you very much to everybody. I wish you a wonderful rest of the day.